Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 29 of Chatting with Anthony. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the NFL and whether I think their ratings will decline in the 2025 to 2026 NFL season. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to list some major reasons why ratings would decline from one year to another. And then we'll go from there. So, to start, no blockbuster players retired. There were, every year, players retire, right? And I'm sure, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I know that there have been players. I just saw Tyrann Mathieu retired. He was a really good player, I think. But he isn't exactly like box office on his own, right? Now, I saw somebody say it, and I wish I could give him credit. I don't remember who it was. But, oh yeah, it was in a book I read. I don't know the dude's name. I returned it to the library. But when it comes to like megastar athletes, the majority of those kind of come from basketball, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that basketball is more so like a one player. Like it's easiest to be dominated by a single person on the court because you have the least amount of people really out there at one time. If you think of basketball, I mean, it's 10 guys, it's 5 guys versus 5 guys all the time. When you look at a sport like baseball, which does have some mega stars, thankfully I'm a Yankees fan, so I get to watch Aaron Judge. That's a privilege. But on defense, he's good. But the reality is, like, the greatest defensive players, like, they're good, but they're not, like, they're well known, especially among baseball fans, but they're not exactly blockbuster for just really good defense because, and I think in part because on defense you have like 9, is it 9? 3, first, second, third, shortstop, catcher. Okay, yeah, so it's 9, including the pitcher. And then there's one guy on offense. That's why I think like the guys with the great offensive stats are like the box office players. On top of the fact, like, you want to see like home runs and fancy slides and like I think I just saw like Ronald Acuna Jr. like this at some point this past week. He scored on a single. It was like the hit from the guy who was up to bat with a single. He was on first base and he scored somehow. And it wasn't some like crazy error where like he slid into third and the ball got past the third baseman and then he got home. It was like he just straight up like outran the guy in the outfield that was running to the ball. And stuff like that really is blockbuster, I think, for that sport. But for football, the blockbuster quote-unquote players are mainly on offense as well. You do have some, like, he retired recently, but Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt during his career, which we'll get to him later. But J.J. Watt, I think, was blockbuster, even though he was on defense. And then on football, also, it helps that it's 11v11, although you could definitely argue the quarterback's the most important position, but still. Brady was definitely blockbuster during his time. So was Peyton Manning. You'll probably throw Big Ben in there too, in their prime. But I'm trying to think. I mean, a lot of like receivers, like Randy Moss. Receiver-wise, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones. Other guys, I don't know if I'd say like when healthy AJ Brown is blockbuster. He is really, really good though. Jamar Chase helps that. I mean, you also have Joe Burrow attached to him, so you know that helps. Receiver wise, DK Metcalf, I'd argue. I don't know how. I'll just say DK Metcalf and leave it at that. But there's a lot of really good players out there. But like the flashy plays are really what stick out. Like Troy Polamalu, like that famous like interception he had where I think it was like in the snow against like the Chargers and Phillip Rivers, and he like kind of scooped it, like he dove at it and he like went like that. I don't think I'm explaining this properly. But regardless of that, sorry, I just went on a long-winded explanation of what counts as blockbuster. at least my opinion of what counts as blockbuster. In reality, it's just whatever the people want. You could be a blockbuster in a certain area just for like a couple of great moments. Not to say like you wouldn't have a great career outside of that. You can think of like Eli Manning. Eli had one of the most storied, like in terms of like his tenure, one of the best careers really in NFL history, you could argue. But I mean, he really wasn't like the greatest quarterback at any point in his career. You could argue he was never really a top 5 quarterback at any point in his career. Maybe the second Super Bowl, you could argue it, but like still, he got the job done. I mean, that championships are what you remember, right? I mean, obviously it's under the context of joking, but what does the inside the NBA crew always joke about with Charles Barkley? But yeah, I guess also to go into that a little bit more, David Tyree is a New York Giants legend for one single play. Now, he also did catch a touchdown in that Super Bowl, which helps, but I mean, he made those 2 massive plays. Outside of that, name me a single David Tyree play. I'm a Giants fan, and to be fair, I didn't really start watching until after he had retired. But I'm a Giants fan, and I couldn't tell you a David Tyree play outside of those 2. No offense to the guy, it's just a moment alone can make you blockbuster, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not necessarily that people will like tune into a game just to see you play, but it will make like your presence more valuable too. Anyways, so there were also no major broadcasting changes. There were no network changes. It will still run on CBS and Fox, and Thursday night will still be Amazon Prime, and Sunday night will still be NBC. Monday night will still be ESPN and ABC. And then Christmas, I'll wait because I'm going to get to that. The only major broadcasting change in terms of like the broadcasters would be JJ Watt will be paired with Ian Eagle this year. Forgive me, I don't know who Ian Eagle worked with last year. I do know that they tend to like, it's not that they're always going to be with the same exact person. I know that sometimes they'll work with a couple different people throughout the season. But regardless of that, JJ Watt is joining the broadcast booth. This will be his first year doing this. I believe he's been working like on pre-game or post-game shows for maybe with CBS or maybe with somebody else, but I know he's been working like NFL coverage for a bit. But yes, he will be joining the broadcast booth. In my opinion, he will be very good, I think. So they will have global games again this year, which good for them. The Jaguars are, I think they have London games again this year. You think they'll just move them to London? I mean, definitely shouldn't, because that would just cause a lot of passport issues with the players and coaches. But I think the NFL really wants to. I think this is just their way of saying screw Jacksonville. But regardless of that, there will be playing global games. I think it's a total of 7 games spread across London, as I said, Sao Paulo, which I know is located in Brazil, Dublin, which I believe is Ireland, Berlin, I'm gonna get killed if this is wrong, Germany, I believe that is, and Madrid, which I'm the most confident in saying that's Spain. But yes, they're trying to expand their global presence. Nothing wrong with that. The NBA grew its popularity by doing that back in like the 1980s, and I can't blame the NFL for wanting to do it more. It would help if the NFL put more of an effort of not just seeming like they're the money hungriest group of I'm sorry, I don't know how to say what I was thinking nicely, and I don't mean to insult them really at this point. So it's just, yeah, I know it's just a business, but at least put forth an effort to make it seem like it's not a business, to make it seem like that's not the only thing you care about, even though people are going to watch your product regardless. Anyways, so back to Christmas. Christmas will be broadcasted on Netflix again this year. Hopefully not attached, just personal opinion, hopefully not attached with I don't know if it was Beyonce or Rihanna, hopefully not attached with another halftime show like that. Just personal preference. I'm sure that brought in a lot of ratings, but yeah, I don't even really know what to say. I don't know, maybe bring Kendrick Lamar in for the halftime show instead. That would be pretty cool. But last year so last year it averaged 30 million viewers per game. They didn't have specific statistics to like pull for like when the halftime show took place and see like how much of it was for that and just for that portion. But regardless, that's a number they came up with, and there has been a steady increase since 2020 when they introduced the NFL on Christmas games. Trying to forget that horrid Dolphins-Packers game where Tua got concussed and threw 3 interceptions in the second half. That was hard to watch. But yeah, they'll do it again. Hopefully the games are better than last year. Last year the Chiefs, Steelers, and Ravens-Texans game sucked, and I was disappointed. Thankfully the NBA is still on there, and the NFL is killing them in terms of ratings. Good segue into the last point, really. The ratings overall are not likely to decline. I do not think they are, based on everything that we just discussed and all the evidence and everything that I can reasonably assume. In the case that there is some like massive like political stunt, like there was with the Kaepernick kneeling, and I'm not saying I'm pro or anti that. I'm just saying like there was a decline and it was directly attached to it. You can say what you want about that. They're just statistics. This is not a politically based video, so please let's not go down that road. But barring something like that, I do think the ratings will be steady, if not increase. They probably should increase NFL's ratings did decline like slightly, I think, from last year to the year before that, which is a little bit worrying. It feels almost a little bit stale at this point. I mean, it's still the NFL. I'm still gonna watch. Who am I kidding? But I don't know. I just want it to be entertaining. At the end of the day, I know that refs and players are in on fixing games. They keep getting exposed for like players being involved in gambling and whatnot. But I don't believe that every game is like the outcome is determined before the game starts. I do believe that like certain officials, certain players might be trying, like certain players obviously want their team to win. I think certain officials might be looking to help a certain team win. That's another story. I think that's been going on forever. As long as sports have been around. But just to point out something else, which is the NBA, which is, I think, just from the numbers I could find, NBA is the second most popular sports league in America. On Christmas Day, though the NBA had 5 games compared to the NFL's 2 games, which definitely will factor into that, the NBA had 10 times less viewers per game. Now I get those numbers are obviously a little bit skewed. It doesn't mean the NBA has 10 times less viewers than the NFL. But I mean, just look at like statistics. Now it also helps that the NFL, when it comes to like, especially their, regular season and playoffs, but the NFL is 17 regular season games and then playoffs, which are just one game. You can't even call them tournaments, but just one game, round by round. But the NBA, it's 82 games, and then you got 7-game series. So, if I had to guess, I don't have the numbers, but the NBA probably has more viewers overall, if you're to like count up the total views. But it's also like, I feel like it's comparing apples to oranges. Like the NBA probably has 5 times more games than the NFL does. They're both very, very successful, as evidenced by the NBA and NFL's really exorbitant pay. And I like Daniel. I can't say love. Something against the guy. It's just I feel like it's a strong word. I really like Daniel Jones the person, but that man got paid $40 million a year. Saquon Barkley deserves some of that money. That's another story. Anyways, yes, being a Giants and Dolphins fan can be quite sad sometimes. But here we are. Tyreek Hill is still alive. Malik Neighbors is doing well. I'm just going to tell myself that till football season starts and then the misery begins. Alright, so thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you bozos have a wonderful... Hope you bozos, in case you didn't understand what I said, have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Enjoy your sports and don't take them too seriously. Don't gamble on them, please. Have a good one.